We have found Kepler-22b, a tiny, an exoplanet in the constellation Cygnus. Seems unimportant, maybe, but this is actually quite significant. First planet found within a habitable zone that Kepler discovered. Telescope. Stated differently, there could be water on this planet, and if any water exists there, perhaps life. Kepler-22b might be our next big opportunity. Home, so let's examine it more closely. Finding new planets in reality is not simple at all. Not all of them are visible. Even with our incredibly awesome telescopes, the powerful Hubble, sometimes the stars, are so little and faint that it's truly difficult to locate on a map. Similar events transpired with Kepler-22. In these situations, scientists must employ a unique approach. Foremost, they require a lot of numerous images of the celebrity in various periods of time, after which they examine them and consider if there are any black spots on this star, and if they come across one, that may be a planet. These images genuinely assist us in find some crucial information, such as this planet exists in the first place. Secondly, this is its proximity to and size radius from the star, and when will it be possible for us to reside there. Radius of size. As of right now, Kepler-22b is quite comparable to our globe and may develop into a second Earth. It's likewise quite near to us, only 635 light years distant, yes, and roughly 3 billions of miles. However, this is among the closest choices. Kepler-22b star is a yellow dwarfs are extremely comparable to our Sun, has the same radius and size. Even the ages are nearly same, for the difference is merely in billion years. About 20% less light is present beyond the Sun, therefore regardless of how much if you squint, this star won't be visible. In the nocturnal heavens, space for water. Kepler-22b, the planet, is roughly 2.4 times greater than Earth, and that's very well. A larger radius indicates greater possibility, water and living space, despite moving. Traveling between cities would require though it's unsettling to even consider, a 3-day aircraft journey. Mass. We are unsure of this object's precise mass. Planet, while experts believe it to be larger, greater than the actual mass of Earth. Kepler-22b has a maximum size of 36 times larger. Compared to our globe, what does it do? Means strong gravitational pull. If the planet is 36 times more massive than gravity on Earth, it will be roughly 6 times more potent. Could you hardly lift 20 pounds? Potatoes, attempt 120. Not to mention that you're capable of get significantly heavier on that planet. You will need to get extremely energized. Simply walking there requires you to become a bodybuilder just for fun. Begin working. What's worse is that with such gravity, it would be quite challenging to thrive there. Plants would require at least a minimum of some liberty to ascend from. The Earth, as well as our dogs and cats, would have to become little balls of strength to endure there. Animals, however, should this planet have its own fauna or additional residents, we can roughly envision how they may seem. Most likely have a long way to go. Being shorter makes them easier to move. Yet, they're enormous and incredibly massive, powerful, muscular spiders could probably worse. Fortunately, all of this is unverified rumors. If we're extremely, as luck and gravity have it, they're somewhat more powerful than Earth's, then of sure, life will be much simpler. Their solar system. The next bit of information on Kepler-22b is that it's roughly 15% nearer to, more like its star than we do the Sun. If there was a Kepler-22b in our solar system, it would be situated in the middle of Venus and Earth. Does that imply that we will all burn up? No, as I have stated, the star Kepler-22 is quite chilly, about 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the reason we might presume that the temperatures on Kepler-22b will behave similarly to us. If the planet Earth continues to orbit, it's similar to how Earth round the Sun, because, in reality, we do not know Kepler-22b, able to spin on its side around its star, such as Uranus, for instance. Did you not realize that Uranus is actually resting on its side and examining its rings? Yes, just like Saturn, Uranus has rings. However, the universe is vertical, genuinely enigmatic location. The weather. In that case, if Kepler-22b is indeed in such manner, the planet's weather will be, to put it bluntly, subpar. Winters will be bitterly chilly. Usually scorching summers are followed by, similar to planets that are tidally locked, we could survive more or less, only comfortably on the small portion of land in the middle of these two insane sides. Let's wishing that this isn't the situation and the planet's regular rotation. See, but as studies indicate, it's not all that horrible. That Kepler-22b might have an ocean. You are aware that water is essential to life. Yet it's also a huge plus in this instance, since a planet with an ocean covering it consistently experiences more consistent temperatures than water takes in some heat and disperses it equally throughout the Earth. The warm parts become cooler and the cold ones get warm. By the way, that's precisely what took place billions of years ago to Earth when our planet was receiving its first tiny puddles. Our dear moon gave these puddles to cover the entire Earth. Because of this raging horror that once our Earth transformed into a charming little ball brimming with life. The temperature. Therefore, if Kepler-22b contains water but not, experts studying the atmosphere believe that the average temperature that may exist at around 12 degrees Fahrenheit, although if also there is an atmosphere similar to Earth, after which the temperature may rise to 72 degrees Fahrenheit would be pleasant. And lastly, a year is equivalent to over 290 Earth days or almost 9 months, since the planet lacks natural satellites. Sadly, we would have to part ways. To a stunning lunar view on the positive side, we could very likely observe the sun, a far-off little star that we might gaze upon it in the night sky, not concealing, but recollecting our house fondly from enormous spiders, because at this point, all we are aware of is currently, regrettably, it's quite challenging to investigate such worlds, so a great deal of crucial information that, for instance, we are unsure about the type. Which planet is this anyhow? Yes, we are overlooking the most crucial details on Kepler-22b that we don't determine if the planet is rocky or not, and if not, then every one of the aforementioned information is useless. It might out to be a planet made of gas or a planet with a solid surface and a layer of gas, core akin to Neptune, or a world of water, encircled by a massive ocean. It would better be a water planet in this instance. Then at least we could construct some sort of. There, we could filter the underwater city, fish in the ocean until our evolution. Does it even evolve into an amphibious species? Be considered evolution if we return to our roots. Nonetheless, researchers believe that Kepler-22b might prove to be a planet similar to Neptune. In fact, some astronomers have designated the planet to a group of several Neptunes. Indeed, this category is a real planet. However, this yet to be confirmed. Ambience. However, even if it's fortunate for us, it appears that Kepler-22b is a rocky planet. We're still unsure about the atmosphere is similar to whether it exists. What if it really does turn out to be similar to Venus's atmosphere, which is poisonous than your former partner? We would need to go far below Earth in order to some way endure on this Earth, and then we would need to find a way to generate heat, since the subsurface is so chilly. Indeed, let's hope that this isn't the case. There are numerous options with Kepler-22b. We have yet to obtain a clear respond, but let's hope that researchers will locate it prior to loading the first individuals into shuttles and dispatch them to overcoming the uncomfortable Kepler-22b, should it prove to be a gas planet or something similar. The only life about which we can be sure the universe as of right now is on planet Earth, regardless of whether life is Let's pretend that intelligence is debatable, but regardless, it's hardly shocking that we're persistently looking for life on other planets that have been found thus far. More than 4,000 of them. But how come? NASA has created a fresh roster of. There are 24 planets other than Earth. The conditions on them are improved, are so excellent that there's more cozy than on our world. So let's look at a few of those Koi 561, 5010, 5715.01. Let's play this one Koi. Fantastic planet in the constellation Cygnus. What makes it so amazing? We apologize, son. Our sun is a yellow dwarf. Even though your support skills aren't that poor, some stars are capable of sustaining life. Better. Nothing personal. The planet Koi 5715.01 revolves around a dwarf orange. Orange dwarfs are stars with a tinier size than the sun and possess somewhat less. How did you find the alliteration, luminosity? Regardless, don't worry. It doesn't imply we shall be living in total darkness. Indeed, if the planet is discovered near the sun and its atmosphere is thicker, it might even be more vibrant and lighter. Compared to Earth, our youngster now has a very brief lifespan at the moment, with 7.2. There are 8 billion years left in a not much more than the age of Earth. Yet, orange dwarfs have a 45 to 70-year lifespan. Billion years. Not only is this fantastic, since we may spend time together on this planet longer, but in addition, due to these stars surrounding planets have more optimal time for life to form right now, we must locate a planet adjacent to an orange dwarf with an estimated age of 7 billion years. There most likely will be a minimum of. There are certain organisms there. Koi. There are roughly 5.5 billion years in 571501. Yes, it might not look sufficiently mature, but that's all right, I don't either. Earth is a billion years in the past, and that didn't. The planet is almost at its end. Stop us? When a star is in a habitable zone, imagine going after spending the last 190 days there, entering elementary school and beginning to get a driver's certificate. It is about twice as big as the Earth's average temperature is 52 degrees Fahrenheit, or relatively less than the 57 of us. However, the main reason it feels warmer there is it can retain heat thanks to strong gravity. Longer in the atmosphere, it's a little, though it's too far away, about 3,000 lights years away from Earth, or roughly 18. Indeed, quadrillion miles is a good idea. Large lunch with you. Koi 301,201. Koi. Planet 3010.01 can be located near to the Koi star from 2010. This planet seems like a really nice place. The global average temperature on this planet is 67 degrees Celsius, which is somewhat warmer. More than ours, but that's a positive. According to scientists, on a flawless planet, the ideal temperature is only roughly 10 degrees warmer than it is on Earth. The planet's temperature increases with it is more comfortable to reside there. Moreover, the increased likelihood of acquiring life. This planet's radius is almost 15 times the size of Earth. Despite the fact that we're in I'm not really sure of its makeup yet, however, it most likely resembles the Earth's. Scientists believe that we will discover there is an ocean that can cover up to 60% of the surface, which is additionally cool in the ideal world of land and water. Ought to be dispersed more fairly than a little bit more land on our planet equates to a little bit more land and resources. Yes, but hear me out. This planet is truly striking resemblance to the Earth, is so remarkable that experts in the field, 84% of us are likely to define. Naturally, life there is not always an intelligent life, but a minimum of animals? How wonderful would that be? What do you imagine they might look like now? A planet that resembles Earth a lot, but with greater gravity, so long as a person survives. They're presumably large there, but they have a tiny stature and powerful little legs. Sounds both cute and frightening, but we won't possess the ability to always know the truth. As of right now, these planets are tiny particles in space. All we have, a few dull, basic facts about them, and not even aware of their appearance. We'll need to hold off till we locate how to approach these planets more closely. Kepler-186b. Additionally, it's among the top contenders for inhabited by life. This adorable planet was dubbed the relative of Earth because it does, yet, bear a striking similarity. These two worlds resemble sisters, but identical twins. Kepler-186b is orbiting close to a red dwarf. Even fainter and smaller stars are called dwarfs. Compared to orange dwarfs, they will also survive for an extremely long period, but there is also very little luminosity nearer its star than Kepler-186b were to our Sun, so there's no reason to worry. Dark there, well, not quite nighttime dark. Darkness is inevitable in this planet's sky. Be a unique crimson hue akin to sunsets. What do you think would you do if you could wish to reside on a world that is forever dusk? This planet's size is approximately just as Earth is neither perfect nor evil. Why? Since those worlds are the coolest, that surpass Earth's size and possess more gravitational pull now, you'll probably say. But wouldn't walking there be more difficult? And far more difficult to get out of bed on Monday, of course, but conversely, the atmosphere will be drawn by this planet. Better, there will be a thicker atmosphere, and denser indicates greater defense, more oxygen from the terrifying space junk, with increased heat, in addition to the fact that there is more space on the larger planets to settle awesomely, yes, but naturally. The size of the Earth is likewise a great selection. It's also interesting to note that the tilt of Kepler-186b resembles ours in most respects, implies that there ought to be a steady seasons with the typical cycle of day and night. You are aware of how crucial the tilt of the planet is. Let's examine Mars. In actuality discovered in the livable zone of our Sun, but its tilt is incredibly erratic, and hence the whole ocean that could have started right now, dried up entirely now, is just a crimson desert where life is non-existent at all, at least not to our knowledge. But you see how significant these little nuances are. Additionally, this planet is far from about 3 light years or 490 quadrillion miles away. So yes, we'll continue to await intergalactic journey. Kepler-62e and -62f. These planets had the moniker most similar to Earth before we discovered Kepler-186f are remarkably similar to our residents. Kepler-62e is approximately 1.5 times greater in size than Earth. Kepler-62f is only marginally less than that. They're situated within the Lyra constellation, which is roughly 1,200 light-years distant from Earth. Additionally, they both circle a red dwarf. On Kepler-62e, a year is roughly 122 days long. Compared to the initial planet we discussed, scientists think that 62e and 62f are similar to warm water worlds, mainly, if not entirely, covered with. If there is land there, there is water. Most likely simply a few islands, a globe, made up completely of islands, a dream. Some people's dreams include Hawaii, and a megalodon is a nightmare for some people. Yet, if you enjoy ancient maritime art, animals, just consider how enormous they might be present. There are still a lot of things we don't understand. This planet, does it possess a surface? What about its makeup? Density? Perhaps we'll be able to one day respond to these inquiries. That concludes the super Earths of. Naturally, the initial list is far longer, and you are welcome to view it on the internet. Is currently the greatest thing ever. This is the fact that these planets are superior to Earth, although we are also aware of thousands of other exoplanets that are marginally near to. The likelihood is that some of them have ours, at least a living thing, but they're really remote. Therefore, there's no way for us to check it out now. Maybe later on, we'll discover some interesting animals on a large number of them. Gym in space. Imagine that you've earned a subscription to a space gym that allows you to explore the solar system and function although gravity. Alterations on many space bodies such. Let's see if you can get more powerful somewhere else, or if you ought to retain exercising here on Earth. Your spacecraft is getting close to the dwarf. Pluto's planet is growing colder by. The Sun is over 3.7 in the second place. 1 billion miles away, you should feel happy that you carried your thermal spacesuit with you. Correct. In order to exit the spacecraft, humans would require a gravity machine's assistance because Pluto's gravity is only 1/15 of that of Earth. Gravity is the force that pulls objects on Earth. You move closer to the Earth, the smaller a space body's mass. The gravity is absent on Pluto, making any sports if you played any that required running. You could try, but you would probably fly away. But ultimately, we don't lift elephants. It is not possible for you to accomplish it on Pluto. Hoisting a 2,000-pound elephant. Pounds feel similar to lifting 120 pounds. Neptune is the next destination. It's over 30 times the distance from the Sun as Earth's atmosphere is gloomy and cold. You could become overpowered by the planet's enormous size is referred to as pleasant giant for a purpose. Perhaps today, you will have a wintertime itch. To state that Neptune exists in sports, a winter that never ends is an understatement. The planet's mean temperature, around -373 degrees Fahrenheit. However, gravity is just 10% here, greater than what exists on Earth, thus you don't notice a significant change. There is no reliable service in this planet, such that you are unable to exit the "Is that an ice hockey rink?" spacecraft? Said, grab your stick and ice skates and prepare to surpass your opponent. Travelers, why not make a little stopover on Uranus? One more ice giant in gravity. Here are 90 of those that you can do on Earth. A few push-ups within the spaceship as you are not going to leave the slushy. The planet's surface is composed of water with ammonia and methane in it. Shape there isn't any firm ground to tread on. However, if you manage to make it there, you'd feel lighter than you were on Earth outside. After 100 pounds, if you weighed at home, 90 pounds would be the amount. May we call? This diet is from the Urals. Please be mindful of Saturns when you approach it. Rings that aren't really made of rings include fragments of asteroids and meteors circling the Earth in flight. Because of its enormous mass, Saturn attracts many other celestial bodies into its orbit. And now that you're among them, it's time to use your creativity when working out. Booked a skydiving adventure here. If you free fall through the atmosphere of Saturn, you'll accelerate to 30 miles per hour. Second, remember to open your parachute. On second thought though, you won't be able to touch the ground anyway. Saturn's surface is pure gas. Quick fun fact, once Saturn got in the way of the 10th planet forming in the solar system, the planet's debris, which partially makes up Saturn's rings now, could have blended into a planet, but it was pulled into Saturn's orbit instead. You're nearing Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. Gravity here is so weak you feel weightless. Let's say there's a rock climbing wall there. How about you give it a try? Usually this sport requires a lot of physical strength, but here you'll only have to carry 13% of your weight. Your climb at the top will be easy peasy in these conditions. Entering Jupiter's atmosphere will feel like being inside a cloud. See that red spot in the bottom left corner? That's a storm twice the size of Earth that's been raging for hundreds of years. To have some fun here, why don't you do some jumping jacks? I'll count to 100. Ready, set, go. Gravity here is super strong. It's 2.5 times as powerful as gravity on Earth, so you'll probably get exhausted at the count of 30. Too bad. Passengers aboard the spacecraft, fasten your seat belts. You might experience some heavy turbulence to travel from Jupiter to Mars. You'll have to move through an asteroid belt. Just in case you're worried your ship will bump into something, relax. There's a distance of 300,000 miles between asteroids. Let's stop at Ceres, the only dwarf planet in the asteroid belt. Gravity here will make you feel pretty strong. How about practicing some cobber tossing? Cobbers are heavy logs that can measure up to 20 feet long. The goal is to throw them as far as possible. Here, a 180-pound Pole feels as if it weighs 5 pounds, which is basically the weight of a melon. Ready for the series caper competition. Woohoo! Finally, Mars, remember all those handstands you've always wanted to try? Well, here's the place to do them. Mars's gravity is about 2.5 times weaker than that on Earth, which means you'll probably be able to lift your own body weight without any difficulty. Since people keep trying to terraform Mars, opening a gym here doesn't sound like a bad idea, does it? Passengers and crew members, were now beginning our descent to Phobos. It's one of Mars's moons. Gravity here is incredibly weak. If you've always dreamed of having superhuman strength, this is the place for you. You can work out here by, say, doing some artistic gymnastics. Start off with a cartwheel, then move on to tricks performed in the air on Phobos. You can start doing triple back handsprings in no time. Look, Earth is about to appear on the horizon. It sure looks majestic from here, but we won't stop there now. Instead, let's visit Earth's sister Venus. It has almost the same mass as Earth, which means these planets have similar gravities. Now, Earthlings can't survive on Venus's surface because of the large amount of ammonia in its atmosphere, but let's imagine you could practice some outdoor sports there. Do you feel like trying bumper bubble soccer? That's when you dress yourself in a giant bubble ball vest and keep bumping into other players. People play this game on Earth. On Venus, with its slightly weaker gravity, it might be a little bit easier, but still, you have to consider you'll be wearing a 25-pound ball as a vest, kind of like a hamster back on Earth. Not to mention, your outfit will restrict your arms and legs. It's a challenge, but it sounds fun to me. Moving on, if you land on the sunny side of Mercury, you'll experience scalding hot temperatures of 800 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're feeling tired after your space workout, a relaxing steamy sauna will be just the thing. You'll feel like a brand new person by the time you arrive on the next planet. We'll fly as close to the sun as we can so that you can have a taste of its gravity. The sun's mass is huge. It's over 333,000 times the mass of Earth, and gravity here is extremely powerful. You'd have trouble lifting something as light as a bottle of water if you manage to step on the surface of the sun. Too hot, you say? Well, I imagine it's a whole lot cooler if you come back at night. Just kidding. On our way back home, we'll stop by the moon. I mean, our Earth's natural satellite. Walking on the surface of the moon will feel like jumping. You'll be able to jump as far as 33 feet, so why not try some parkour if you play basketball? Scoring a point will be very difficult, but then you can jump higher than the hoop and do an epic slam dunk. And how about baseball? If you throw the ball upward, you'll probably never see it again. Finally, we land on Earth. Sorry to disappoint you, but you're not coming back with any superhuman strength. Even when you were lifting an elephant, gravity was helping you out a lot. It was a good trip, though, don't you think so?